Black Iron Security! You the pilot?
Yeah,
And him?
he's gone.
We'll just need the one. Okay, let's get you out of here.
Leon Ferris is one of the most intimidating men that Jacob Lee will encounter during the events of the game, the Callisto Protocol. The captain of Black Iron Security and the right-hand man of Warden Duncan Cole, Ferris would be respected by his fellow officers and loathed by the confined criminals. A strict man with rigid adherence to command, Ferris would run a tight ship at the prison, working diligently to ensure that everything went according to his plans. A desire for control that would be absolutely shattered when his superior would unleash absolute hell in Black Iron.
Fall back! We've lost containment!
Alright, then activate all tactical units. You are weapons free. Repeat, you are weapons free.
Yes, sir. But... Sir, that will...
Now that's an order. You kill anything that moves.
The story of Leon Ferris, as we know it, begins in mystery. What we do know is that he would work for the prison for much of his adult life, coming into the position of security captain at some point and holding it for several years. Black Iron had been built by the United Jupiter Company, or UJC for short, sometime in the 2200s to house the most vile criminals in this corner of the galaxy. As such, strict discipline and rigid protocols were put into place to ensure that the guards would keep the upper hand. Gravity restraint projectors, or grips, were standard issue, as were stun batons to ensure a monopoly on force. And in this environment, Ferris would thrive. While we don't have exact timelines, Ferris would seemingly be promoted to captain under a warden previous to Cole, willing to turn a blind eye to the experiments of the facility, or likely being an active participant in their enforcement. The prison itself having been established as sort of a giant pen for test subjects that wouldn't be missed if chosen for inhumane experiments being conducted just under the surface. However, while previous wardens had kept these tests minimal and purely academic, Duncan Cole had been ramping up the intensity.
Responded to a crash outside the gatehouse. Site secured as per Warden's orders. Access restricted to Mahler's team only. Never thought I'd miss the old Warden. At least she was by the book.
Cole was aggressively impatient, seeing little progress with the research conducted at the site and hoping to drastically reduce the timeline. As such, under his leadership, protocol had begun to get messy. Changes were being implemented at a rapid pace, and as the captain, much of the aggravation of those adjustments would fall to Ferris. Ever dutiful, he would do his best to keep up with the ever-shifting landscape of the prison, but the tasks would become untenable in 2320 when Cole would do the unthinkable. The prisoner experiments at Black Iron were in pursuit of pushing the boundaries of human evolution. On Callisto, back during the moon's initial terraforming process, an alien life form had been uncovered, and from that, a diseased pathogen known as the biophase would be discovered. Research into this pathogen, which was contained within the larva of the alien, would be conducted in the prison as well as at a secondary location on Europa, the latter of which experienced an unfortunate breach which would devastate the moon and give Cole his plan. In his mind, evolution was not an action that could be confined to a laboratory. It was a process that had to be overcome by the strongest among us. And so, one night, as the prison slept, he would release the biophage into Black Iron, creating a havoc that Ferris couldn't possibly hold at bay.
Tonight, while the prison sleeps, I will take matters into my own hands. I will release Mahler's experiments into the wild. No more talk. The time has come for action, and I know that I am right.
The disease would quickly break Ferris's best laid plans, rushing to the high watchtower as he attempted to regain some semblance of control, but it was too late. His men were getting slaughtered by freed prisoners and monsters alike, and without knowing who to blame, he would lash out at a recently incarcerated man named Jacob Lee. However, Jacob would manage to get the upper hand, unleashing a horde of infected on the captain, eventually resulting in a fall from the tower. Despite appearances though, he would survive the ordeal. contracting the biophase during the attack and beginning to mutate, becoming stronger, more resilient, and ever more confident. He was the one that Cole had been searching for, the next step up on the evolutionary ladder, his alpha. While the others had been cursed with this virus, he had been gifted, and at Cole's command, he would see exactly what these new powers were able to do. Leon Ferris is one of the most loyal and capable men that can be found roaming the halls of this apocalyptic prison. The highest ranking guard in the facility and right hand of the warden, Ferris would value stability. Rigid structure meant safety from the bloodthirsty criminals that packed his cells and flouted his commands. Yet, while the stiffness of structure had been safe, it had also been limiting, keeping him from seeing the potential that could come from chaos. And as the chaos transformed him into an unrecognizable monster, Cole found that what he was looking for was right beside him all along.
No escape this time! I've beaten you! I've beaten everyone! I told you! What's happening to me?
Oh my God!